The actors in these scenes were not actually acting. And the internet looks at it as, how cool when something like that happens on a film set. But me and you, we're gonna go a bit deeper. Because some of these moments are genuinely brilliant examples of acting craft, and others are borderline abusive. And if you want to be an actor, you need to know the difference. So today we are going through these moments one by one, and I'm not just gonna tell you what happened, I'm gonna tell you whether or not it was right for it to happen, and what it means for you and your craft. Let's get into our first scene. This is one everyone knows, Midnight Cowboy. Dustin Hoffman, playing Ratso Rizzo, walks into the street, and a real New York City cab, not a production vehicle, turns and hits him. And without missing a beat, he smacks the hood of the car and he goes, "Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. I'm walking here." Hoffman later has said that the actual thing going through his head was, hey, we're making a movie here, but he knew he had to improvise. So instead, what came out was exactly right for the character and the situation. And here's why I love this example, because it's not a director or someone on set trying to trick Hoffman. This isn't an engineered production surprise. This is an actor brilliantly prepared, very much present, encountering a real world unexpected moment and delivering it through his character. His instincts were so finely in tuned that when reality interrupted the scene, his character was the one that answered, not Dustin. Ratso. That is a dream. That is what deep character work actually gives you. Not the ability to execute a plan perfectly. You can't fake that. You can only build it through real preparation. So this scene, brilliant, full marks. My name is Neil. I'm an actor and an acting coach. I've been on Netflix, Hulu, CBS, worked with people like Emily Blunt, Chris Evans, and many others. And I've learned over the years what healthy collaboration looks like and what it does not. And this video is the one that I genuinely wish existed when I was first starting out, because nobody tells you this stuff. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit subscribe and the bell, because I do actor breakdowns like this all the time and I do not want you to miss the next one. So this scene is a little bit more nuanced and it's a very interesting backstory. But one of my favorite examples is how this is a great actor-director relationship and how it can work collaboratively to give us a great product in a scene. Lenny Montana, a former professional wrestler and mob associate, real mob associate, was cast as Luca Brasi in The Godfather. And when he had to deliver his lines in front of Marlon Brando, he was basically falling apart at the seams. It was so honest. He was genuinely terrified to be acting, so his words were fumbling, but it was just perfect for the scene work. And Francis Ford Coppola kept it. Not because he tricked Montana, not because he engineered the moment to make this guy as nervous as possible, but because he simply saw a genuine reaction. He saw what was happening in front of him, and it was very human. A genuinely intimidating man, past mob boss, being intimidated. I mean, that's exactly what the scene needed.
I am honored and grateful that you have invited me to your daughter's wedding. On the day of your daughter's wedding. And I hope that their first child be a masculine child.
Luca Brasi should be scared of The Godfather, and that's exactly how it played out. Authentically, completely undeniable, but the ability to stay truthful even when that plan is falling apart. And here's one step farther that I love that Coppola did. He didn't just leave that one moment in as a happy accident. He added a shot of Montana rehearsing in the corner at the wedding, which basically gives this whole moment context. It basically takes one embarrassing outtake that it could have been and turned it into a cinematic goldmine for the character. I mean, it's one of the most memorable character introductions in cinematic history. That is a director in full service of his actors and the story. He didn't exploit Montana's fear. He honored it, framed it, and he made it mean something. And the difference between this and some of the examples we're about to get to is respect. Montana's natural nerves became a contribution to the performance and not a liability. So this one, handled beautifully. So I need to address two examples here because they are both part of the same conversation. And that conversation is physical contact without consent is not a bold choice. It's a violation of trust. And before we start villainizing these actors, I also want to take pause because I want to acknowledge the fact that at this time, actors were encouraged to do these kinds of things. So I take no blame towards these actors. But as we grow and evolve, I think it's important that we talk about how we should be growing and evolving. And this is one of the ways the craft needs to. So in The Deer Hunter, Christopher Walken spat on Robert De Niro's face. This was during an intense scene. It was not scripted. And De Niro was not expecting it and almost walked off set. In Raging Bull, Robert De Niro apparently slapped Kathy Moriarty, and it was so hard during one of their domestic scenes that she ended up hitting her head against the wall. It was unplanned. She did not see it coming. Both of these moments produced real reactions. Of course they did. If someone unexpectedly spits on you or hits you, you are going to naturally react. That reaction looks authentic on camera because it is authentic. But here's my problem with framing that as filmmaking genius. You do not get to violate someone's physical or mental safety for art. Full stop. An actor's body is not a tool you can use without their consent to play with. The fact that Moriarty kept going after she was struck is actually a testament to her craft, not to any genius on the part of the production. Ooh, and here's what really gets me. That real reaction could have been discussed, rehearsed, and achieved anyway, but consensually. If you tell a trained, talented actor, I need you to achieve this, they will be able to execute. It's literally what we train for. The idea that you need to actually assault someone in order to get a reaction out of them is actually just a big disservice to the craft itself. It says, I don't trust you as an artist to access this truthful place. So instead, I'm going to force it on you. Not a shortcut. It's just utter failure. And this is a conversation I have with actors a lot, especially when they're first starting out. Where do you draw the line? And how do you advocate for yourself and your artistry on a set? Because nobody teaches you this stuff formally. So if you want to have this conversation with me about how to actually manage this industry and all of the intricate little details it is, go ahead and click the link in the description down below. I would love to have a call with you. But for now, let's keep going. So this example might seem a little less serious than the last one, but I actually think it's one of the most instructive in this entire video. In Die Hard, Alan Rickman had to fall from a specific height for a very climactic shot. The stunt team told him that they would drop him on 3, and they dropped him on 1. And Rickman's face in that is pure shock, pure betrayal, and pure real reaction. And the crew was so proud of themselves. And the internet celebrates it. And I want to be really clear where I stand. What they did was wrong. Here's why. On a film set, everything is built on trust. It's the entire foundation in order to work truthfully and safely. When an actor steps onto a set, especially for a stunt, you are entering into an agreement that the set coordinators are going to tell you, we will have your back and be able to guide you through this entire experience so that you just focus on your performance of it. We want you to feel safe. The moment you break that agreement of trust is the moment you might get a good shot, and then the rest of the trust, the entire production, is completely lost. Rickman had no ability to prepare, to breathe, to be present as an actor because his nervous system was hijacked by genuine surprise and betrayal. So what you see on screen is not Alan Rickman's character performing a death. It's Alan Rickman experiencing in real time a breach of trust. And here's a question that nobody seems to ask. Would Rickman have given you something equally as extraordinary if you, I don't know, told him to? Maybe trusted him to deliver it? I would bet everything that he would have, because Alan Rickman was one of the greatest actors of his generation. He did not need to be tricked. So trust your actors. They will always give you more than you think. And I'm curious on your thoughts about this. Do you think it was right for them to have dropped Alan Rickman? Let me know in the comments down below. So this is one I've been building toward, and I want to say it plainly. In Inglourious Bastards, there is a scene where Diane Kruger's character is strangled. Rather than use a stunt coordinator, rather than actually choreograph the scene safely, Quentin Tarantino decided to do the strangling himself, on camera, physically cutting off Diane Kruger's airways to get a realistic reaction. His explanation was, I never buy it when I see strangling on screen. So I said to Diane, I'm going to be the hands. I'm going to cut off your air for just a little bit of time and we'll see the reaction on your face. And then the internet discusses it like it's a bold, creative choice. Now, yes, he told her ahead of time. She technically agreed. And I want to address that because I think this she agreed to it narrative is what just lets this all pass. So let's talk about what that agreement actually looked like when you break it down. We have Quentin Tarantino, one of the most decorated, highly regarded directors in all of Hollywood, asking one of his actors on set if he could put his hands around their throat. And this is all coming during a time in the industry when women knew especially that saying no to powerful men and directors came with extreme consequences. And let's not forget that we are in an environment where we already have a power difference between a director and an actor. Lay on top of that, it's a male director and a female actor. And the culture norms here are that you are either agreeable or you are difficult to work with. And you don't want to be difficult. So when we say Diane Krueger agreed, I think we need to ask ourselves honestly, how free was that agreement? How much genuine choice did she have in that room with that person in those kind of status positions asking her? Because consent being extracted from someone who feels like they can't actually say no doesn't really mean consent. It is compliance, but consent and compliance are not the same thing. A director who genuinely respects his actors does not have to put them in any position where they have to be harmed. If you're enjoying these powerful conversations, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button down below because it allows this video to get shared with more people out there. We got to spread the word on these difficult conversations. So, not all unscripted moments are created equal. I need to give some love to this on the other side of things because I'm not anti-spontaneity on set. Not even a little bit. So let's check out the usual suspects lineup scene. Benicio del Toro apparently flatulated through the entire scene. And not just one time, 7 consecutive takes. And the entire cast just completely lost it, understandably. All of them are just gone. And the director comes up and is like, "You guys are screwing me. I've got nothing." And then they came back from lunch and then they laughed even harder. That is a group of talented, funny actors who genuinely found a moment of gold and were able to capitalize on it. Nobody was harmed. Nobody was surprised against their will. Pure, joyful, collaborative chaos. And it's in the film. It's perfect. In everybody's favorite film, Fast and Furious 6, The Rock improvised a joke about Teresa's forehead, and Ludacris literally spit out his drink.
Hey, Mia, you better hide your baby oil. I'm just playing.
You better hide that big-ass forehead.
I was just joking.
Completely real, completely harmless, born from genuine warmth of that cast together. And Steve Carell's waxed chest in the 40-year-old version, real pain, absolutely. I mean, the guy's getting waxed.
So ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, you fucker! Oh, I'm sorry. That's just your job.
But Carell made that choice himself, knowingly, in full control of his own body. And it was all in service of a bit he wanted, and he owned it completely. Do you see the through line? Every single one of these moments worked because of collaboration. Everyone in the room knew what was happening, and everyone had agency. The unexpected moments were unexpected because of natural human curiosity, not because someone in power decided to pull the rug out from underneath someone. That is what a good set feels like. And those are the moments worth celebrating. So I'm going to leave you with the gray area. The Hateful Eight. Kurt Russell smashed a guitar during his scene. A guitar, unbeknownst to him, that was a 145-year-old antique loaned from a museum.
Music time's over.
So Jennifer Jason Leigh's reaction was real. Genuinely shocked, genuinely upset, genuinely at a loss for words. And it is a super powerful moment in film. And this one was kind of complicated for me because Russell didn't harm anyone. Lee was not physically injured or endangered, and he didn't know the guitar was real. He believed he was smashing a prop, as they planned. The production failed to tell him that he was not using the prop in that scene. But what we end up watching on that screen is pure, genuine grief. And it's undeniable. It's beautifully real. And I don't have a clear verdict on this one, and I think that's important to sit with. You can watch that shot and be genuinely moved by it. And you can also wish that it was handled differently. Both of those moments can be true at the same time. Art and ethics are not always clean. What I do know is this. The most extraordinary performances I've ever seen, on screen and in the room with them, came from actors who felt safe enough to choose to go there. They weren't forced, they weren't surprised, they weren't manipulated. They went to the most vulnerable, unguarded places within themselves by choice, because the environment around them made it possible. Safety and truth, not opposites. The safest sets are often where the most extraordinary work happens. Because when an actor knows that they are protected, they will go so much farther in their work that manipulation could never bring them to. So if you're an actor watching this and you're trying to figure out how to manage your own career, and you have a million gray area questions that just don't really have answers, but you need a guiding light, those are the conversations that I would love to have with you. So remember, feel free to click the link in the description down below to set up a call with me. And if you're interested in seeing more actor-related content, go ahead and check out one of these videos next. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.